Okay, so before I start throwing down in the kitchen, I thought that it was only right that I'll show you guys where I got the recipe from, or where I got the idea from at least. I've been watching a lot of Netflix recently, and I've been watching a show called The Brothers Swin, or The Brothers Son, and this is what I saw whilst watching it. One of the main protagonists in the show loves to cook, specifically baking, and he starts making these really cool pineapple thingy-majiggies, and I start looking at them like, what is that? And I start getting mesmerized by the fact that the other person really enjoys them. Then I'm like, that looks pretty cool. And then I thought to myself, I want to make that. So I took it upon myself to do what any self-respecting young man would do when he faces something that he wants. I went to go and get it. So I headed down to Waitrose to get the ingredients necessary to make these pineapple cakes. Now, I am not a baker, so it did take me a while to find some of these ingredients, but without further ado, here is the ingredients list to make these pineapple cakes from scratch. So the first part of the recipe requires making the pineapple jam. This means you need 2 pineapples, because you need 660 grams of fresh pineapple that you're going to cut up later. Then you need 220 grams of caster sugar, and then you're going to need some unsalted butter. We need this for the jam, but also the pastry. Speaking of the pastry, we also need some shortening. Don't ask me how long it took to figure out what shortening is. You need some full fat powdered milk. I got semi-skimmed milk because that's all I could find. Pastry flour, baking powder, and some beaten eggs. I was genuinely surprised by how little I actually needed to make these things from scratch. It all came to about 26 quid.
It's 24.44.
And I made a lovely friend along the way.
Thank you. You too, Bolo. You need the receipt?
No, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks so much,
Bolo. Yeah.
See you later. And now we get into the actual baking. This was a challenge for me from start to finish because baking is uncharted territory for me, but I love a challenge, so I went for it anyway. So first things first, in the recipe, we make the pineapple jam. This means peeling the pineapple, removing the core and the eyes, and cutting down the flesh into small pieces, probably about 5 millimeters thick. I put it inside my food processor just so that I could get them smaller. Then we've got to get our pan out, and then we add our sugar and our pineapple into the pan and cook it for about 30 minutes. And you're gonna try and stir this often whilst you're cooking it. The whole point of this process is to keep cooking until the water has evaporated. Then I prep some of the other ingredients like the egg and the flour, the shortening and the butter on the side for later. This bit got a little bit messy, but it was necessary to do whilst I was still making the jam in the background. The shortening and butter has to go into the freezer for 15 minutes. Once our jam is ready, we add the butter and stir continuously until the butter has melted into the pineapple. The next step is to put our jam onto a plate, spread it thinly, and allow it to cool completely before we use it. So I just set that aside and started focus on making the pastry dough. Making dough was a failure last time I did it, but I decided to actually read the instructions this time and add all the dry stuff first, then add my frozen 1 centimeter cubes after, and pulse it together until crumbling. Now this is the part where I don't like baking because I've put all this stuff together and I don't know if it's gonna be good until I finish making the product. So you're putting in all this effort now and you don't know if your dough is gonna be crap by the end of it, but we follow the recipe nonetheless. Once I noticed the crumble mixture started to come together, I had to pour it out onto a pastry mat and quickly press it together to form a ball. Now the recipe told me not to knead it because apparently if you knead it, it forms gluten, but then you want to flatten it into a disc shape and put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. And you know me, whenever I have 30 minutes spare, I'm gonna clean up the kitchen, dance. I was listening to Swag Surf at this moment in time. Anyway, back to the cooking. So by this point, the dough should have cooled down, and then we have to prepare our jam. This bit is super, super important, and I think this is where the baking precision has to come into account. It's all about shaping the cakes. So I had to divide the pineapple jam filling into portions of 20 grams each. With each 20-gram portion, I had to roll them into a ball, and it was the same with the dough. Divide them into 25-gram portions and also roll them into a ball. If I did this again, I probably would have made them about 30 grams each because they just couldn't make it. This was my first time trying to flatten the dough balls. Now, on the recipe, it said just flatten them inside a tortilla press, which I obviously do not have. And in the Netflix show, I saw him do it with his hands and cling film. So I tried to repeat these steps and failed miserably. It's a pretty delicate procedure. I mean, I didn't realize how tough this was going to be. I even added more dough, but then I figured out if I squeeze it in between 2 chopping boards, I can get a flattened shape, which is a lot flatter and a little bit easier to mold with a knife. But again, this was so difficult to make. But after a while, I started to get the hang of parceling them together. I mean, you can see I'm struggling, but by the time I got into like the 5th and 6th one, I was getting pretty good at it and they were coming out in a decent shape. Now, in the recipe that I'm gonna put inside the description, it says that you should use some square molds, but obviously I don't have square molds. So once you've finished with the squares, you put them inside the fridge for about 15 minutes, and then you place them on a baking tray so that they can get ready to cook at 180 degrees for about 5 minutes on each side. This is the part where if I had a mold, they would have filled up in the mold and filled into these lovely square shapes, but I have my own freestyle shape, so I just had to make do with what I got, you know? Now, I'm not gonna lie, at this point in time, I was really patting myself on the shoulder because these cakes look exactly like they did in the show, and I thought, you know what, I'm killing it. But as they started to brown in the oven, I started to think that these things are starting to look more and more like chicken nuggets instead of pineapple cakes. And actually, if you look at them when they're finished, it kind of looks like a 5-year-old made them. But I'm still super proud nonetheless because I had so much fun trying to make these, and it took so much effort. And then the only thing left was to take them to my work crew to see what they thought. I have no clue what they're supposed to taste like. I feel like there's probably some Taiwanese grandma out there that is looking at this and being like, yeah, this is horrific. I mean, who am I kidding? She's probably not watching this. But for a first try, and considering that it's something that I've never ever tried before, I quite like it. My official taste test is, this is your consent. You're on the vlog. You're on the vlog. You're on the vlog. Right in your face. Right in your face. Come here, Amy. Come here. Right. What are they? Pineapple tarts. I have brought the pineapple tarts to my taste testers. These are my taste testers, working so hard. Look at them. Okay, they're not going to like it at all, so let's get them out. Oh, man. Because I'm hardly ever here, so... Okay, well... It smells cakey. Okay, ladies. Right, they're a pineapple cake that I made. Basically, I saw them on Netflix and I decided to make them yesterday. Bear with me with the shape and stuff, but hey, I tried them. It took me 3 hours. 3 hours to make these things.
Well, I'm not very good at stuff. Are they gooey?
They're not gooey, they're not gooey, they're not gooey.
I love pineapple.
They're not gooey.
I really love pineapple, but I don't really...
These are stuck together, squeeze fingers.
It's like, it just tastes like, it tastes like a shortbread with pineapple inside. Yeah, because he said I should, what's it called? Put them in the fridge.
You're going to bring us like freshly baked.
Well, I made them warm yesterday, but then he said I should put...
Why didn't you do them freshly baked?
It takes 3 hours to make. How am I going to make that in the morning? To go to the gym, not to bake. Are they good? You like it?
They're good? Are they healthy if they've got pineapple in them?
A ton of sugar. Got so much sugar. Got some good nods like here. Oh my gosh.
They're really sweet.
It's like jam on the inside.
They're lovely.
Oh my god. Thanks, guys.
It's like a shortbread.
Yeah, it's like a shortbread basically. It's very buttery.
Oh, it's nice. That's good. That's really good. Nice.
Yeah? Nice. Out of 10.
I feel like a solid 9.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
I said 10 out of 10 forever.
Last 20.
Oh. Oh, did you drop some? Oh.
10 second roll.
If you eat that, oh my god! Did I just, oh my. The worst part is it's all on film. Out of 10?
9.
9. Oh! What do you think? What you? I feel like you're feeling something there. She's feeling something there. She's got a little.
It wasn't so like
But on the outside, yeah.
very good.
Thank you.
Mediocre.
Yeah, there we go. That's the real critic there. This is like my brother.
There ain't no chocolate cake.
I'm easily pleased. No, these are really nice.
It was made with a lot of like. If you saw how long I was like there, like going like this, then like trying to close it is so hard to do. But if I had the molds,
I'll just scrape the middle out.
just scrape the middle out. Oh, you don't like sweet stuff though.
I like.
Don't like the jam?
Gooey stuff, yeah, like jam. I'm nearly eating the whole thing, so.
My first time trying it.
Well done.
Taiwanese, and yeah, they look like chicken
Probably
nuggets.
eat another one, to be fair.
I'm trying, but the thing is, I don't have enough, and I told my mum and dad that I'd let them try as well. So like, I have to save at least 2. There we have it. My review.